It all started on a sunny July morning, the kind that makes you think the world is just a little better than it really is. The air was thick with the smell of grilled food and blooming flowers, and I'd been up early, hustling around the house, getting everything perfect for our family holiday. My Lisa was still asleep, her body curled under the covers like she was trying to hide from the world. We had been planning this trip for months, details about the cabin, the meals, the little surprises for everyone. I'd poured my heart into it, imagining how everything would be just right. I remember feeling proud as I packed the last bag and checked the list for the 10th time. Everything seemed in place. Then I grabbed my phone to double-check the messages from my brother. We'd been joking about a surprise game for the kids, nothing unusual. But as I scrolled through the messages, my eyes caught something that made my stomach sink. A string of texts in a hidden folder I didn't even remember creating. The messages were intimate, flirty, suggestive, full of private jokes that didn't make sense unless you knew their context. They were clearly heated with references I'd never seen before. My fingers trembled as I read over them again, trying to process what I was seeing. This wasn't just friendly banter, it was much more. Wait, no, I whispered aloud, staring at the screen as if that alone could undo what I'd found. My palms went clammy and my heart hammered against my ribs. How long had this been going on? How many times had I been blind to it? My mind spun with questions as I sat frozen, trying to piece together the hidden messages and what they meant. I looked over at Lisa, still peacefully sleeping, unaware of the storm brewing inside me. My stomach twisted, a mixture of shock and betrayal. How could she do this? Not just to me, but with my own brother, right under our noses during what was supposed to be a happy family trip. The two people I trusted most, lying while I was planning our future. It felt like my chest was compressed by a heavy stone, each breath shallow and quick. The evidence was right there, undeniable. I could see the last message she sent, some sweet nothing she thought was innocent, but I knew better. It was their secret. I held the phone tight in my hand, feeling the rough edge of the case digging into my palm, grounding me in the worst way possible. I had to wake her up. I couldn't keep pretending I didn't know. But when I stood, my legs felt unsteady. My mind was spinning with anger, betrayal, and a strange sense of numbness. I didn't want to wake her gently. I wanted her to feel what she'd done. I needed her to understand that her actions had shattered everything I believed in. Lisa, I said sharply, voice trembling with a mixture of fury and heartbreak, wake up, we need to talk. She opened her eyes, sleepy at first, then frowned when she saw my face. What's wrong? Did you forget something? She asked, voice soft and innocent as if she had no clue what I'd just uncovered. I could hear my own voice tremble as I responded, you tell me. Did you mean to send those messages? Or were they just some kind of joke? Her eyes flickered with a flicker of panic. I don't know what you're talking about. She stammered, trying to play it off, but I already knew. Her face betrayed her. The guilt was written all over it, and I saw it in her eyes, the panic that she was caught, the flicker of shame. I wanted to scream, to shake her and demand the truth, but instead I just looked at her, cold and furious. Don't lie to me. Those messages aren't just some joke. You've been cheating on me with my own brother, during our family holiday. The room felt colder after I said it. Her face drained of color, like I'd punched her in the gut instead of just speaking the truth. She opened her mouth, probably to deny it, but no words came out. Just a trembling silence that stretched so long it felt like it would snap in two. I could feel my fists clenching, my palms sweaty with a strange mix of rage and disbelief. My mind kept replaying those messages, the way they made me feel like some fool who'd been played for a damn fool. I had trusted her, loved her, believed we were building something real. And right now, I felt like I'd been stabbed in the back with 100 knives. You think you can lie your way out of this? I finally managed, voice dry and sharp. All those times you said you were busy working late, why was your phone always hidden? Why did you delete those messages? Her eyes darted away like she was searching for an answer that wasn't there. She looked like a kid caught with her hand in the cookie jar, except the cookie was betrayal on a level I'd never even imagined. Her voice broke when she spoke. I was stupid, okay? I didn't mean for it to get so out of hand. It just happened. I don't want to hear it just happened, I spat. That's bullshit. You planned this. You knew exactly what you were doing. While I was planning our wedding, you were sneaking around with my brother. How long has this been going on?" She looked down, tears pooling in her eyes. "A few months. I swear I didn't want to hurt you, not want to hurt me." I cut her off, voice rising. "You cheated on me with my own brother during our family holiday, and you're telling me you didn't want to hurt me." I felt my chest tighten, the words like an explosion in my head. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard. My mind was racing, trying to process how it all fell apart so fast. The feeling of betrayal was a hot stone in my stomach, and I knew I couldn't stay in that room with her. I needed space, time to think, to figure out what the hell I was going to do next. "I need to think," I said coldly, turning away from her. As I stepped out, I saw her reach out, her trembling hand grabbing my arm. "Please don't do this. I love you, love," I snapped, pulling away. "You don't get to say that after what you did. I trusted you, Lisa. I was ready to marry you, to spend my life with you, and you were busy screwing my brother behind my back." She begged, tears streaming down her face now. "It was a mistake, I swear. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Please, I'll do anything, anything." I echoed, voice harder than steel. "You're damn right I'll do something. I just need you to stay away from me for now." I grabbed my keys, feeling the weight of betrayal tighten around my chest. I didn't look back. I couldn't. That morning the world had changed forever. I knew I'd never see her the same way again. And my gut told me this wasn't over, not by a long shot. I had to decide what to do next, and I knew that if I was going to get revenge, I'd have to be smart, cold, ruthless even. But first, I had to gather everything I needed. Evidence, proof. Something that would hit her right between the eyes, something that would give me the power I needed to level the playing field. I spent the next few hours meticulously going through her phone, her private messages, her emails. I wasn't going to leave anything to chance, and I found it. A series of texts and photos, hidden in a folder she thought no one would find. They revealed not just the affair, but showed the secret tone of their conversations, the flirtation, the planning, the secrecy. I sat on my bed, clutching her phone, feeling a dark satisfaction creeping in. Yeah. I was hurt, more than hurt. I was furious. But I also knew this was just the beginning. She'd betrayed me, yes, but now it was my turn to make her pay. To remind her what betrayal truly looked like. I had a plan, a damn good one. I would confront her with everything. Make her realize she'd lost more than just my trust. She'd lost her future with me. And when I was done, she'd wish she'd never crossed that line, because I didn't forgive easily. And I sure as hell didn't forget. Next step, I started making arrangements. Some of the evidence I would use publicly, some I'd keep hidden for the right moment. I wanted her to feel the weight of my anger, to see what she'd thrown away. And all the while, I wondered, how long had they been planning this? And more importantly, how much more did I not know? The more I dug into her phone, the clearer it became. This wasn't some drunken mistake or fleeting lapse. No, this was calculated. A slow burn of betrayal that had been brewing for months. Every message, every secret emoji, every stolen moment, it all painted a picture I'd never wanted to see. I could feel my jaw tighten as I scrolled through conversations where they were clearly flirting, arranging meetups, hiding things behind code words I'd never decipher. I needed to be smart about this. If I was going to do something, I had to do it right. I couldn't just blow up and ruin everything in a fit of rage. No, that wouldn't serve me. I wanted her to realize how badly she'd screwed up, but I also wanted her to suffer just enough to remember this forever. That night I stayed up late planning my next move. I printed out some of the more incriminating texts, took screenshots of private messages, and filed them away in a secure folder. I also made sure to delete anything that might tie me to this, just in case. I had no intention of letting her find out I knew everything before I was ready. While doing that, my mind kept circling back to the hurt, the betrayal, how I'd trusted her with my future, and she'd been sneaking around with my own brother. I'd known was close to her, but I'd never suspected anything. Now I saw the truth lay hidden in plain sight. The next morning I woke up to a mess of feelings, rage, betrayal, a strange sense of emptiness. I could still feel her hands on my arm, her tear-streaked face begging me not to leave, but I knew I had to. No matter how much I wanted to scream at her, I had to stay cold. I couldn't let her see me break. I went to work that day with a heavy heart. Every step I took felt like dragging a batting weight behind me. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of her lies lurking behind every glance. At lunchtime, I called. "Hey," I said, voice steady but low. "Can we meet? I need to talk about some things." His voice was hesitant, like he was already feeling the storm coming. Yeah, sure, what's up? Just, we need to clear the air. I've got some questions, and I think you do too." I kept my tone even, but inside I was seething. I had to stay calm for now. The storm was coming. That evening, I confronted him face to face. We met in a quiet parking lot under the harsh glow of a flickering. I didn't waste time with small talk. "You've been sleeping with I said bluntly. "During our family trip. How long has this been going on?" He looked caught, eyes darting away. "Look, man, I didn't mean for it to get out of hand. It just happened." "It just happened," I echoed, voice cold. "Don't bullshit me. I found the evidence, the texts, the photos. You've been lying to me from the start." He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "Yeah, I fucked up, I know. But I didn't think you'd find out." "Too late," I said, voice hard. "Now I know everything, and I want you to stay away from her." He nodded reluctantly. "Yeah, okay, whatever you say." I hung up, feeling a strange sense of closure, like I'd finally taken control of the chaos she'd thrown into my life. My mind already spinning with the next steps. I knew I had to be careful, precise. If I was going to make her pay, it had to be perfect. Over the next few days, I planted the evidence where I knew she'd find it. In her car, her purse, even left a few copies in the bathroom cabinet. I wanted her to see that I wasn't bluffing. I wanted her to understand that I was one step ahead. The night I planned to reveal everything was clear. I set up my little show, a text message to her, inviting her to a private chat, a fake confession, if you will. I wanted her to believe she was about to come clean, but really, I was about to make her see that I already knew every secret she'd tried to hide. I sat on the couch, phone in hand, feeling my heart pound with anticipation. When she arrived, I didn't waste time with pleasantries. "Lisa," I said calmly but firmly, "I've seen everything. The messages, the photos, the lies. I know about you, and I know how long it's been going on. And I've got proof, more than enough to make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are." Her face went pale. Her mouth opened, then closed again. She looked like she wanted to crawl under the floor. "I thought I could explain," she whispered, voice trembling. "You don't get to explain," I cut her off. "You betrayed everything, me, our future, our family, and I'm not going to let you get away with it." Her eyes flickered with fear and regret, but I knew I had her right where I wanted. She'd pushed me to the edge, and now I was going to make damn sure she knew exactly what that felt like. The silence between us was deafening. I could feel my pulse pounding in my ears, my fists clenched so tightly my knuckles ached. I watched her tremble, her eyes glossy with tears. Yet behind those tears I saw something else. Fear. That's what fueled me now. Not just anger, but a calculated desire to make her understand who had the power. "Here, how it's going to go," I said, voice steady but cold. "You're going to sit down and I'm going to lay out everything I've found. Then you're going to tell me the truth, no more lies, no more hiding. And after that, I'm going to decide what's next." I paused, my eyes narrowing. "Because you crossed a line I never thought you would, and I don't forget or forgive that easily." She hesitated for a second, then nodded, her shoulders slumping in defeat. I pulled out her phone and unlocked it, placing it on the table between us. "Read it," I told her. "Every single message, every secret you thought I'd never see." As she scrolled through her own private conversations, her face turned pale. Her fingers trembled over the screen, and I noticed her lips trembling, trying to find some kind of explanation or apology, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she just looked devastated, her entire body trembling under the weight of her guilt. "Is this what you wanted?" I asked, voice sharp. "To hide behind lies while you were sneaking around, while I was planning a future with you?" She finally looked up, eyes filled with tears. "I was stupid," she whispered. "I never meant for it to go this far, it just happened." "Happened," I repeated, voice dripping with disdain. "That's a nice way of saying you deliberately cheated on me with my brother. During our family holiday, while I was trying to make everything perfect." Her shoulders shook as she cried, but I wasn't about to give her a free pass, not after what I'd seen. I needed her to understand that I was done being naive, done being hurt without fighting back. "I want you to leave," I said, finally standing up. "Right now, and don't contact me again until I say so." She looked at me, hopeless and broken, voice barely above a whisper. "Please, can we talk? I love you. I swear I'll—" "No," I interrupted sharply. "There's nothing left to say. You betrayed me in the worst way possible, and I won't be around for the fallout. I'm done." I grabbed her keys from the table, tossing them onto her lap. "Take your things, pack your bags. I want you out of my house tonight." She looked like she didn't move for a moment, then slowly nodded, tears streaming down her face. I could see the guilt, the regret, but I also saw the understanding. She'd pushed me to the edge, and now I was finally pushing back. As she packed her things, I took a final glance around the apartment. Every piece of furniture, every picture, every memory suddenly felt hollow, like I was living someone else's life. A life I no longer recognized. Once she was gone, I stayed up late that night just staring at the empty space where she'd been. My stomach churned with a strange mixture of relief and rage. I had won a battle, but I knew the war wasn't over. Not yet. I sat in the silence, thinking about all the times she lied, all the moments I'd missed, all the signs I'd ignored. My mind kept circling back to one thing: how to make her truly feel what she'd done to me. How to make her understand that betrayal came with a price. That's when I started mapping out my revenge. Not in a petty or destructive way, but strategic, precise. I knew I wanted her to see the pain she'd caused, to realize the gravity of her actions. I wanted to make her regret the day she decided to cheat, to lie, to betray the trust I'd given her. I'd already gathered enough evidence, enough proof, to make her life uncomfortable, public enough to shame her, private enough to make sure she never forgot it. I wasn't interested in destroying her outright. I just wanted her to feel the cold weight of betrayal pressing down on her, and I knew exactly how I'd do it. The plan was simple but effective. I'd wait for the right moment, then reveal everything in a way she'd never expect. I'd make her see that she'd lost more than just my love. She'd lost her respect, her dignity, her future. The pieces were all falling into place. I was ready, and I was going to make her regret ever crossing me. Because betrayal isn't just a hurt, it's a lesson. And I was about to teach her one she wouldn't forget. Next, I'd start executing my plan. First step: sit back, watch her reactions, and prepare the final blow. The revenge wasn't about violence or cruelty. It was about making her understand the depth of her betrayal face to face on my terms. The days that followed were a blur of cold clarity. I kept my distance from everyone, basically living in my own head, piecing everything together. I knew I had to be patient. Revenge wasn't something to rush. I wanted her to feel the weight of what she'd done, but I also wanted to control the moment, to hit her where it hurt the most. I was interested in petty revenge or petty revenge-like satisfaction. This had to be calculated, precise, and final. One afternoon, I sat in my apartment, going through the evidence I'd collected one more time. I had screenshots, private messages, even some audio clips I'd secretly recorded of her talking to. I wanted everything to be airtight. I wasn't going to give her the chance to deny it, not again. I was planning the perfect reveal, something that would shatter her illusions of control, of innocence. I knew she would try to deny everything, spin some excuse, or even beg for forgiveness. That's why I had to be ready. I wanted her to see that I'd known all along. She couldn't hide from the truth anymore. I'd make sure she felt exposed, vulnerable, and utterly powerless. The moment came sooner than I expected. I received a text from her, short, simple, and chilling. "Can we talk?" I stared at it for a long time, gripping my phone so tightly that my knuckles turned white. I had been waiting for this, but now that it was here, a strange calm settled over me. I knew what I had to do. I messaged her back with a time and place, an empty park near her place where no one would disturb us. I wanted her to think she was dictating the terms. When she arrived, I took a deep breath, feeling the familiar surge of adrenaline mixed with cold resolve. I'd rehearsed what I was going to say, but no words were enough for what I wanted her to understand. "Lisa," I said as she approached, voice calm but firm, "I've brought you here so you can finally hear the truth straight from me. All those messages, all those secret conversations, you thought you could hide it, but I knew everything." She looked down, tears threatening to spill again, but she nodded. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I never wanted to hurt you." "Oh, save it," I snapped. Sorry doesn't cut it. You betrayed me, you're your family, during our trip while I was trying to make everything perfect. And you thought you could just keep pretending it was nothing. Her lips trembled. It was a mistake. I was stupid. I didn't mean for it to get so out of control. No, I said, voice sharp. It wasn't just a mistake. It was a series of choices you made every single day. You lied to me, to your family, to everyone who cared about you. And I was blind, thinking everything was fine, but I found the proof. Every message, every secret, every damn lie. Her shoulders shook as she cried, shame pouring out of her like a flood. I love you, she choked. Please, I love you, don't do this. I took a step closer, feeling the icy rage inside me. Love, you call this love? Cheating on me with my own brother during our family holiday. That's not love. That's betrayal on a level I don't even have words for. She looked at me, pleading. I swear I'll fix this. I'll leave him, whatever it takes. Just don't throw everything away, please. I shook my head with a bitter laugh. You're already throwing everything away, but I'm not going to let you walk out of this without feeling the consequences. You pushed me to the edge, Lisa, and now I'm going to push back hard. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the folder I'd prepared. I handed her a printed copy of the most incriminating messages, the photos, the proof I'd gathered. Her hands trembled as she looked at the screen, her face losing all color. This is what you did, I said slowly. While I was planning our wedding, you were secretly planning with my brother. You thought you could get away with it, that I'd never find out. Well, I found out, and I'm not going to let you forget it. She stared at the evidence, her shoulders sagging. Her voice was barely a whisper now. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Too late, I said coldly. You're done. I want you out of my life right now. She nodded, tears streaming down her face as she pulled her phone out, fumbling to gather her things. I watched her, feeling a strange sense of satisfaction mixed with the deep ache of betrayal. I knew this wasn't just about ending a relationship. It was about reclaiming my dignity, my self-respect. When she walked away, I stayed behind, staring at the empty space she'd just vacated. I knew I'd made the right choice. But I also knew the real work was just beginning. I had to rebuild, to heal, and to make sure she understood that betrayal has a price. The next step was clear. I was going to make sure she paid in a way that she'd never forget. I'd leave her with a taste of the pain she'd caused me, see how she liked being on the other side of betrayal. And when it was all over, I'd finally move on, free from the weight of her lies. Because some betrayals cut so deep, they change everything, and I was just getting started. The day I handed over the keys, it felt like I was finally closing a chapter I never wanted to open. She was already packed, her face streaked with tears, eyes hollow from the emotional wreckage. I didn't say much, didn't need to. My actions had spoken loud enough. I placed the keys in her trembling hand and watched her walk away, each step heavy with regret, shame, and the realization of what she'd lost. As she disappeared down the corridor, I stood there for a moment, feeling the cold air brush against my skin. It was strange, part relief, part emptiness. I knew I'd done what I had to do. I'd taken back control, stripped her of her lies, and made her face the consequences of her betrayal. The weight of months of pain finally lifted, replaced by a strange, grim sense of peace. I gathered the evidence I'd meticulously collected, the photos, messages, the audio clips, and carefully filed them into a folder labeled "For My Eyes Only." That was the final piece of my revenge, proof that she'd crossed a line that could never be erased. I wanted her to remember this forever, not because I hated her, but because betrayal like hers deserved to be remembered. Later that evening, I sat alone in quiet reflection. My stomach was tight, a dull ache settling in, but my mind was clear. I didn't need to prove anything to her anymore. The damage was done, and I had already moved past the fury. This was about reclaiming my dignity, about learning that sometimes you have to cut ties completely, even if it hurts like hell. Looking back, I realize how much I trusted her, how much I believed in us. But trust, once broken like that, is almost impossible to rebuild. I kept replaying the moments I ignored, the signs, the little red flags that I'd brushed off. Now I knew better. From this point on, I'd be more cautious, more aware. I'd never let someone betray me like that again. My final act was to send her a message, one last thing to seal the deal. No anger, no bitterness, just a simple, clear statement. It's over. Your keys, your stuff, consider it finished. Don't come back. I wish you well, but I won't look back. No need for explanations, no need for tears, just a decisive end. As I pressed send, I felt the weight of all that had transpired lift from my shoulders. I'd faced the betrayal head-on, confronted her, and walked away with my dignity intact. It hadn't been easy, hell, it had been painful, but I had come out stronger. Now I know that sometimes the only way to heal is to cut away the poison, to start fresh without the lies, without the betrayal. And I did just that. I finally closed that chapter knowing I'd be better for it. Because some lessons are brutal, but they're necessary. And that's the truth I want everyone reading this to remember. Betrayal cuts deep, but you're stronger than you think. Never let anyone steal your peace, and never stay in a place where you're not valued. Cut the ties, walk away, and reclaim your life. That's the real revenge, finding your way back, better and wiser than before.